Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew this side of a Borg transwarp conduit, almost freaking out Girafe that we were going to get more unnecessary Borg storylines. Speaking of Sub-Commander Girafe, she is here tonight with an extra side of Cardassian Yamuk sauce, though I don't think you're going to put Yamuk sauce on your ice cream bar.
It's mango yogurt. Very good. Eric is not here, so I was like, I'm gonna be eating ice cream, but
You
not
have to take
popsicle.
the ice cream throne. I
Yeah,
like it.
if anybody would put yamuk sauce on ice cream, it's Cardassians because they have no joy in their lives.
They don't, and they put that
True.
crap on everything. So
Yeah.
it's like Frank's Red Hot. And Commander Emcee is here, wondering if there was potential for a Vin Diesel cameo in this one. I actually don't know if you are, but you know, the Fast and the Curious deserves some Vin Diesel pun of some kind. Welcome back, guys. How we doing? How goes it?
All right.
Too many podcasts.
Too many podcasts, and yet we started a Star Wars podcast together. So really, are there too many podcasts?
I'm too famous. I don't know.
You are too famous. It's true. I will shameless plug our new show because the three people that are going to be on that show this week are on this show right now. Sounds of Lothal, Girafe and I's new Star Wars podcast. If you are a Star Wars fan as well, D23 is happening as we speak, and they released the first trailer for the I will be nice and not call it a Star Trek Prodigy ripoff, but the new
But a Star Trek Prodigy ripoff?
But
I
definitely
said it,
a
not
Star
I
you.
Trek
didn't
Prodigy
say it.
ripoff.
Emcee said it. Skeleton Crew, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and we are going to be breaking down the brand new trailer for it. Emcee is going to be our special guest on that episode because she has opinions on this, as do we all. That's going to drop on Tuesday. So if you're a patron, you're listening to this on Monday. Listen to our new episode, and it's out for you already if you're listening on Thursday. So good times. Let's see. Back to Star Trek this week. What happens when the gang uses a Borg transwarp conduit? I have to say, as much as we don't need any more Borg, it was a bit of a. Can I say that? No, I probably can't say that. It was a bit of a tease. It was a bit of a tease. I gotta
I
say.
don't know. I think it's good that they use the highway that exists.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Fair.
They're here.
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah, they're all
might
over
as
the
well.
place.
Yeah. So they use a Borg transwarp conduit to get to the Spiral Nebula faster. What happens? How did Prodigy's take on Voyager's The Race go? And was it the best way to reintroduce the Kazon? We are going to break it all down. But first, Girafe, I've stalled as long as I can. It is back to you. Can you thank our
Sorry.
amazing Patron Collective members? You don't have the outline up, do you?
Hey, thanks to our amazing patrons. Simon Steger, Jeff Reeve, Maria Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joseph Paredo, Noe Santos, Kung Hui, Takaku Nagumo, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Laura Linderman, Colin Davidson, Shadowhen 2049, Chesco, Michael Graham, Emilian Travis, Gilderak, Cassie, B. Till right, not till wrong, Maggie Light, Tyrannical, Wayne Ritz, Conavark, Sean J. Howard, Anna Yurdadon, Maihalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Davey Willett, Tara Poland, Slope 74, Wood Parakeet, Joshua Miller, Aaron W., Lanky Guy, Carl Engelly, Michael Kwan, Meredith, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Jim McMahon, sorry, Sedano 317, Puka Hair, Free Fry Short, Cat T. Tripping the Read Alert of a Pineapple, Sean Manning, Asher, CBF, Chris Waterman, RHCB, Martin Simpson, Norman Buckwell, David Prime Hildebrand, Turin J. Robinson, Rod Greiner, Eric Durant, Trouble, Jamie Roberts, Honey Berry, Paul Taylor Pete, and Brett Jones. And as always, a big thanks to our bad mirrors, our EPs. Simon Steger, Commander Chris Waterman, Tara Poland, and Brett Jones.
Hey, you guys freaking rock. I did that in an Australian accent for some reason. That was weird. Don't mind me. Good stuff. I love having new EP. I love having new patrons. A lot of mail going out on Monday. Some mails are already gone out, and there's going to be more going out. Stickers, books, and other fun things. So, yes, our patrons are amazing. Let's see. Do we have news? How did Trek Spurts go?
Well, I can't spoil because I suppose
No.
people didn't watch it. So I was on the second Prodigy quiz on the Trek Spirit quiz show with Davey, who's one of our patrons also. And yeah, it was super fun.
And I score kept, and it was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
MC scored kept and even wrote a question because Davey forgot one. It was super fun. It's my second time as a contestant on the Trek Spirit. I've also score kept. And I have to say that it's very bad for my blood pressure. But
Wait, this is your second quiz? Was the last one you and me?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not realize that. Okay. Cool.
I've done only two. I've score kept. I've been a quark for the quark tank, but no, it's only my say. I'm sorry, Davey. I do not like competition. It stressed me out. I
don't think Davey's got a problem with that.
It stresses me a lot.
I want to be a quark. I want to do the quark tank. I'd love to be a quark.
I'm gonna be on Trexpert quiz coming up soon. Like not as scorekeeper, but like I'm gonna do the quiz again. I believe at the end of the month.
Yeah, end of the month against Matt Harker.
No?
Yeah, I've been challenged by Matt.
He's terrified.
That man loves to live dangerously. Like I would never challenge you of all people on any Trek trivia.
He's gonna kick himself because we get specialty rounds, and when he hears what my specialty round is,
Oh,
so it's not one theme; it's like multiple themes.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys when we're off mic what my specialty is gonna be.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's exciting news. I don't really think that we have any other. Yes,
I
please.
just recorded today with I Quit Star Trek.
Oh, that's
right. On let me read the title of the episode because I don't have it. It's I will find it. Oh no, I have it here. Sorry. So I just recorded with I Quit Star Trek, which is the show with John and Olivia, who are in London, and we recorded today. I Quit Star Trek. Mixed race people in Star Trek. Are they real? Who knows? We just recorded for an hour and a half, but we ended up talking for 1 more hours with also Isa, who is a costume designer in London, and it was really fun. So I think this will come out next week. It's us ranting and joking and ending up talking about cosplay and blackface Klingons. It's fun.
I can't wait to listen to this episode. I really can't. It's gonna be awesome. I will put this little bit of not news but content news into the ether. Giraffe and I think all of us talked about, we haven't done a dedicated Section 31 show for the trailer, and we haven't done a Lower Decks trailer breakdown yet. Those are coming, but I will tease you guys and say that we really want to do something special with the Section 31 teaser breakdown, with the production quality. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be a really fun special show.
Special guest Beyonce.
Special guest Beyonce. We made it happen. Congrats, everybody. That's huge news.
Yeah. Just for my birthday.
Just for your birthday.
I mean, when she heard that Strange G Pod wanted her, jumped at the chance.
Hey, she's saying yes to everybody else right now. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she looked for us. She's secretly one of our patrons.
Our people.
We have people. Oh man, that would. Oh my God, imagine though. Imagine. Oh man. Then other than that, go check out our good friends over at heroesandvillains.com. You can get 20% off your first order using our code STRANGE. Amazing Star Trek gear. I will shill out their awesome X-Men stuff as well. Marvel, Star Wars, everything. They just do great work. Though we got to get more Trek shirts out there. New stuff.
More Trek.
More Trek.
Trek bags.
More Trek bags. I like this idea.
Bags.
Yes, more Trek bags. So
And maybe work on that licensing for Canada.
Canada. That's right. Yes.
Well, I like that we're promoting them and giving them work.
Yep, that's what we do. That's what we do on Strange New Pod. This is what we do. We're gonna move this one right along and go into the Strange New Loop. So this is definitely a filler episode that we are talking about today. And I'm curious because like I have an episode in my head that I actually talked to Aaron about in Vegas.
I was present.
You were present. I know. I like it. But it would have to be in a later season, so it wouldn't be for this. Like I'm not going to talk about this one here, but if you were going to write a filler episode for this season, which is hard to do in my opinion, once you get past, 9 and 10, what would have been your subject matter? Would you have like continued something that maybe needed some more depth from season 1? Would it be original drafts? Already got her hand up. Let's go.
Because I have had that filler episode since like episode 1. How did Murph ended up on Tars Lamora? I want a backstory on Murph. I want something about melanoid slime worm, like whatever. I want a filler episode about something random about worms. And it would make my friend Danielle, who's a specialist of worms, so happy also. She can help you. She can science consult for you. Call my people.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
We do need a Murph episode like
Yeah, we
sooner
do.
rather than later. So
Ortegas and Murph. Like, why?
crossover.
Murph Tagus.
Let's go. Murph Tagus.
Tagus.
Let's go. Oh my God. Sorry, Open Pike. We're taking over the Ortegas merch with Murph Tagus. Let's go.
Murph
Let's
Tagus.
go. MC, I saw your hand.
Yeah, I've got one. So just to show that it would work, a very similar episode was done on Supernatural, but that's not surprising because Supernatural was able to do everything. Supernatural did an episode that was from the point of view of the car. Like the entire episode, it was just like things going on in front of the car, and it was awesome. What I would want for this season of Prodigy, an episode from the point of view of Julian the whale.
Oh, I like
So
it.
good. And
Yes.
Bonnie would get to like basically be the only one talking the whole episode.
The whole
Exactly.
episode. Yep. Yeah. I love that. I am very excited for the shirt that I'm going to wear for when we do the Mirror Jillian episode. I bought one of Bonnie's shirts. But if people don't know about it, I want it to be a surprise, so I won't say what it is. One thing that we have seen these kids go through for like, God, 40 episodes. Now, there are 40 episodes of Star Trek Prodigy.
Goodness.
40 episodes. We've never seen them have fun. Like, what are these kids' hobbies besides like taking out the Tal Shiar and like
Floor pies.
saving the world? Yeah, well, besides the floor pie too and ice cream. I want to
It's possible Parisi Squares is now a thing because
Well,
that happens.
Parisi Squares for sure, but that's what the Hollows, isn't it? Like they're knockoffs
Yeah,
but
but maybe
yeah.
they do it too.
too. But like, I want to know, like, what does Rock do for fun? Like, I don't think Rock's a swimmer. Like what does Doll do for fun? Murph, I mean, I don't know. Does Murph like just throw slime at people all day? Like I would just like a day in the life. Like not like the time loop episode from Stargate where we like learn that Jack really loves golf enough to hit golf balls through the Stargate, but just like a day off. What, like seeing them get in trouble, seeing them not their normal trouble that like causes, universe ending issues, but like fun. I want to know what these kids do for fun. And I think the kids probably want to know what they do for fun,
Yeah.
So like we saw in X-Men 97, MC, Gambit likes to cook.
Yeah.
know?
Just thinking, maybe it's because I over-identify with her, but Rock Talk, I think, makes adorable plushies.
Okay, yes, I would see that. Yes.
She
Okay.
cooks Nutri
And-
Goop.
She cooks NutriGoop too. Yep.
Mm.
So yeah, I want a down day episode. That would have been good for this season because this season was heavy
Action-packed, yeah.
and action packed. Yeah. Speaking of action packed, this is an action episode. It is our review of episode 207, The Fast and the Curious. It's all about family. What would you do for your family? Now, I'm not going to go into Vin Diesel.
I've never watched any of these movies.
Okay, I'm gonna
My
see you in a week,
most-
and we are gonna watch at least the first one together. We're doing.
I heard
Yeah,
they're bad. That's why I'm not done it.
There's actually a few good ones, like no BS.
Yeah, seriously, the only thing that context that I have for it is the current season of Dimension 20.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do an awful lot of Fast and the Furious takeoffs. Like
Nice.
one of the characters is Vic Ethanol.
Oh, all right. Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
I'll watch that.
There you go. Our order tonight will go Girafe, Emcee, followed by myself. We're gonna get right into this. The conduit and the forced landing. So starts with the crew in cramped corners. Jankum is stinking up the toilet, and Gwyn and Rock sternly remind Dahl that he is very much not the captain anymore. What do we think about this kind of rude awakening for Dahl, who's so used to being in that, or trying to be in that command position, and now all of a sudden he's just, not even a cadet like the rest of them. Draft.
It was really giving Lower Deck season 1, episode 1. You do, Captain
Yeah.
Locke.
Yeah, Dahl and
What?
Boimler are like the Predator handshake.
Like, well, I'm training. One day, and there was even like the bunk beds like in Lower Deck. So I don't know how inspired by Lower Deck it was, but I could not see it. I think it's mean. Let him do a Captain Log. Who cares? Like, poor Dahl. Like, they borrowed a ship. There's a lot going on. Don't be like this. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I like the fact that we finally see toilets in Star Trek.
Yeah, and the fact that even in the 21st century, there's not any automatic air freshener.
Well, it's also Jenkin Park, so
It's also Jacob Puck. That's a
Yeah.
great point.
anything can happen, but it's a legendary lack of toilets in Star Trek. I think there is a door maybe in TNG if I remember well.
I think there's been some on blueprints, but never.
You actually see a full-on bathroom in Q Who. It's Q Who, right? When the Borg take a chunk of the saucer and it's coming up, and you see inside quarters, and there is a bathroom, and that's what you see.
So-
Really?
Yeah.
So that's in Lower Decks we know they have sonic showers, but like sonic, how does sonic toilets function?
Does it
What is
speed
sonic
of
about
sound
it?
suck everything out of your orifices?
Terrifying.
Right? I mean,
But
That-
I like the fact that like these hopeful are very they're used to like too much luxury. Like they had a full protostar, then they were on Voyager A, and now like they are really dealing with lower deck situation like bunk beds and corridors and no room and one bathroom for everybody, and they can't deal. And I'm
Yep.
like,
It
you know
builds
who would
character.
deal? The Delta Shift. The Delta Shift would deal. Bring in Mariner in this. She's gonna teach them.
yeah, she'd make something out of nothing for sure. Yeah. MC.
Yeah, I mean, like these kids have not had to deal with. It's funny to say this because this is the episode that actually deals with a lot of their trauma about being sold. But for season 1, and this season, they have been in a very privileged position of having their own ship and being on a very nice ship. And so seeing them in this opening scene just kind of shows, they're really off the grid now. Like last season when they were off the grid, they had a top of the line ship, but this is more what it, if you're out on your own, what it's going to be like, having to deal with Jank and Pog's stinky poop.
Stank.
Yeah. And I really liked Zero lording it over them that that they're non-corporeal and so didn't have to put up with it.
Amazing. Yeah, I gotta go back to what Giraffe said. Like, I actually thought their tone towards Dahl was like super mean. They could have just been like, dude, like, no offense, there's no
Well, they
captain here.
cooked up. They cooked up.
I know, but like, there's no captain here. We're all equals right now. Like, no one's in command. To MC's point, like this ship isn't even the original Infinity, right? Like Jankum has jerry-rigged this thing so much like that it's also like who knows what
shape of Theseus.
yeah, exactly. Like he's done so much to this thing that it's probably like, it probably had more space, but between turning it into a time machine, getting it operational again, I don't know. The thing is probably, like you guys said, super cramped. So yeah, I think a lot of tension and them getting at each other. But yeah, I think they could have been a little bit nicer to Dahl. And I think he definitely, and it's not really picked up on in later episodes, but I think he definitely like feels it, right? You could hear it in Brett Gray, the way he acts. Like he was hurt a little bit. His pride has been broken. He's been, knocked down a peg. So I appreciate.
I wonder how was their situation. How was their situation in Tarsa Lamora? Not for Gwen, but like, wouldn't they stay with other people? Like, how? I don't
Did
know.
they bunk?
That made
Did
me
they
think.
bunk up?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering about this, but anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, they probably bunked up. No, it's a good question. So in the transwarp conduit, something attaches to the Infinity as they're going through, forcing it out of transwarp and forced land on a planet that smells as bad, if not worse, than Jankum. But no pun intended. They realize that this enclosure is under the control of a Kazon Maj, and Dahl tries again to kind of be captainy and tries to sweet talk him. Not actually sweet talk him. He's like, get out of our way or else. Then gets phasers stuck into his face, but it doesn't work. And Gwyn does try the more respectful, like, homage, like, we understand that you need tribute. It doesn't really work. The Maj still demands tribute whilst forcing the gang into this dangerous race. Thoughts on reintroducing the Kazon this way? Also, like, they're not like the not, I guess, as Seven put it, they weren't really up for assimilation. The Borg didn't assimilate them because they're not like advanced enough. But these are like kind of uppity Kazon. We know why later on in the episode, but thoughts on the reintroduction?
Listen, the Kazons are one of Voyager's biggest mistake. Let's be honest.
It's
It's true.
Yeah, it's 100%
They were
true.
half-cooked alien with huge problematic racial stereotypes. Like,
Star Trek with
yeah.
problematic racial stereotypes.
Shocking.
I mean, Voyager did less worse than a lot of what came before Voyager, I suppose. But they created the Kazons as big bad, which first of all are stupid because they're not really interesting, and then they're really problematic, and then they're not advanced enough to be assimilated. Like Star Trek should stop like putting cultures and civilization in like uh, I don't know, in like classifying them by advancement. Like that's stupid. Like technically the Borg would not care. Like you don't know
Right.
what
Yeah.
you know. Like they would just assimilate drones, and I don't know. I don't like the Kazons, but I like that Prodigy actually give them a reason to exist, an actual part in the story where they do things, and they're not just the henchmen. They are still terrible because they're slave traders, basically. Um, but it makes sense in the story. I was glad to see the Kazons in a different light and with actual dialogues and with an actual plot. I think the fact that they were Kazons is interesting for the kids because they're traumatized by their captors. So it was good that they get to face them again and to be the hero of the story, basically. So I think it was an interesting choice dealing with one of Voyager biggest mistake.
Nice. MC.
Yeah, pretty much everything that Giraffe just said. Like the Kazon were terrible. Like there's a reason why they dropped them basically as quickly as they could, because even Voyager knew that it's like, oh, we've made a terrible mistake. But the way they've been using them in Prodigy, using them in this episode, the kids are so afraid of them. Like I could like when they're talking about being sold and everything. I felt terrified for them. So I like that for the Kazon. I mean, that's a terrible thing to say. That's like I like them being child selling slavers, but they need to have something going on, and the fact that it gave me an emotional response is something that I don't have for the Kazon a lot
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
ever.
No, fair. I have to say, just keeping on with the Voyager making such a mistake with the Kazon, which is so true. I will give a lot of credit to that writing room because they knew how bad the Kazon were, but they, I think, did an admirable job polishing a giant turd, like adding the Seska arc with the Kazon. Because without that, it just would have been I mean, it already is god awful, but like it helped a lot. Yeah, this was unique, but like I remember watching this episode for the first time and it just threw me off because like we've never seen the Kazon like this. In a real like, I guess like point of authority. Like the Kazon have always just been not like believable, but this was, just I don't know. I don't know how I felt about it. But I do agree. Like the kids being terrified of them and having that trauma brought back up, I think was a really cool story to tell. Um, this is we've already said a couple times like an action packed episode, and this Maj makes them do this race, which we know, of course, later on is because of this evil AI that is controlling the Maj. But they're like, I have the best racer, and you're gonna race against them, like almost like Gladiator. It's like I have my best fighter. So Dahl and Jacob team up against Rock and Gwyn, as well as this racer, which we learn is actually just AI robots. Um, Zero and Murph realize that the Maj is rigging the race with all sorts of obstacles and terrifying things. But what do we think about the action in this one? Because I think Giraffe, you put it in your tweet. It's kind of like pod racing, episode 1, Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, everybody keeps calling it a pod race, and I was like, I was not certain what we were talking about, and I think you told me about like I was like, oh yeah, I remember in Star Wars now, but um I think it was fine. I think as a bottle episode, I like a show for like for kids to start with. A pod race is better than like a fight in a pit, you know.
Yeah.
I feel it was a good way to also give some badass animation because that was really cool and that was really cool looking. And there was suspense and tension, but it was not, a knife fight. So that's better. Um, I also like the fact that it triggers Dahl's competition and his ambition and how he wants to win. And I like the fact that it triggers different thing in all the characters and we all see them react differently to the fact that they have to race. It's also a good throwback to Voyager.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep. MC?
Yeah, and the animation was absolutely beautiful. I don't like race episodes because certainly this is not the only show that is, or Star Trek is not the only thing that has done races before. I have liked a race absolutely once, and that was the pod race from the Phantom Menace, and that's because of substances that I can't talk about on a show where kids might be listening.
I like it too, and I was sober.
I love the pod race. Like I love
I think it's
Boonta
fun.
Eve. It's wonderful.
It was also incredible to see that early 2000. Like it was good cinema. It was good CGI and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not really a race person. Every time I see one of these races in a TV show I mean, especially in a cartoon, I immediately go back to Wacky Races.
Which is called in French Crazy Wheels.
Is it really?
Yeah, les fous du volant. The crazy behind the wheel. The crazies behind the wheel.
Oh.
Nice.
I think we're talking about the same thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Yes. The talking dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody else right now.
I want to know what the hell is going on.
Oh man. So I love races. I love a few of the Fast and Furious movies. There are definitely some god awful ones, but this was fun. Like one of the you guys were talking about like, you know, how it kind of activated something in each and every one of them. I actually really liked the suspense of like, oh crap, what happens if Gwen's thing starts failing and it starts failing and it's like, are they gonna crash? Is she gonna disappear? What's gonna happen? It was cool. It was fun. And it's a kid's show. I feel like I don't watch enough TV because I feel like in the TV shows I watch there aren't a lot of car races. I feel like it's mostly in film.
The problem is that Star Trek has been doing a lot of races right now.
Well,
Like,
yeah, right, with
the
like the
episode
foot
after
race.
that, there's a race. In Discovery, there was a
there's
race.
a race. Yeah.
This Lower Decks did twice a race.
Twice, yeah. Were there any races in Picard?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
Hey,
so.
Picard, good job.
Not like a race, like, you know, like a race,
Right,
like,
right.
oh, there's a start and there's a finish,
Yeah.
and like the first one then go. Like, but it's been a lot of like these. You need to run from point A to point B. You need to race from point A to point B, and I'm like, can we move on?
Should we race to something else?
Yeah, for example,
Oh,
thank you,
give a
Julian.
button to yourself.
Okay, all right.
Get off my bridge.
Hey. So yeah, it was fine. Like, listen, at the end of the day, this is not like one of my favorite episodes. It is a lot of filler. But the race was fine. It was fun. And I will beat a dead horse and say that the animation was freaking just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So one killer AI at a time, speaking of tropes in Star Trek lately. Zero and Murph realize that the Kazon is under the influence of an evil AI, which I will say voiced by the legendary Deborah Wilson, one of the all-time greats. If you've never played Destiny and don't know who Savathun is, don't even need to play Destiny. Just look up Deborah Wilson Savathun, and you will listen to her voice for the rest of your life. So, and when they disconnect the Maj from this AI, he doesn't even realize where he is, right? He doesn't know how much time has passed or how long he's been influenced. So, like, this is definitely some crazy mind control stuff. The AI then captures the crew, tries to pit Murph, who grows like Goro arms from Mortal Kombat.
Murph has the opportunity to have more arms than two and doesn't, and I think we've been stolen.
I think Murph is feeling pressured to conform, and I don't like this.
I don't like it either. I was like, wait, he can have more limb, and he's not. And I'm like, why? Why wouldn't you want to have an extra pair of hands?
So forearm Murph when is what we're saying. Yes.
Oh, yeah, it could be like made only of arms, and I'll still be game.
Oh wow.
Cat or Murph?
So they try to pit Murph against the ball as the AI kind of just talks about world domination until Zero, who's hooked up, sacrifices their suit, right? And actually, like, for a hot minute really thought that, oh, are we gonna lose Zero? Making the supercomputer implode and make a cool implosion-y thing from Ghostbusters. What do we think about the climax of this episode and the reveal, Girafe?
I did not like it. Let Zero alone. Let them alone. Like, why must Zero suffer so much every single time? Like, it's basically the same thing than Let Sleeping Borg Lie.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
they sacrifice themselves again, and they sacrifice themselves again. And I'm just like, we go from Zero being very happy to be non-corporeal at the beginning of the episode, like, I mean, joking about it because we know they've been struggling with the lack of their lack of ability of sensations. And the fact that they just rip their arm off, first of all, there's no system to take off those limbs, because before I remember in season 1 didn't they have like the ability
They
to
could go up and then
yeah. And I'm like, okay, so very like and ripping their arms off to to fly directly inside the thing, would blows up with everybody in the room.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked how they didn't all die.
And I'm like, what is that thing made of? It's like when, like in Family Guy, the horse falls down the cliff and just explodes. I'm like, what is in that computer? What is it made of that it blows up like this? Like, anyway, and then just everybody's fine. And there's no conversation about Zero. You should stop trying to
Blow up.
hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Star Trek never had character who were trying to hurt themselves because they were unhappy or they felt alone, or like we see Spock in the Kelvin verse. Like there are a lot of characters who are trying to deal with their problems, emotional problem, by being super reckless, and I don't think that's what Zero is doing at all. But also, why is nobody addressing the fact that Zero was just like ready to die? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I get it.
Can
Yeah.
they die like that?
Mhm.
Also, maybe they cannot. And
Well, I
yeah,
don't
they
know.
did
Like,
it.
yeah, how do Medusans die? Because they're basically just energy, right? I kind of look at it. Sorry, MC, just real quick. Like,
It's okay.
I kind of look at it like it's also a problem if Zero blows up and also loses the containment suit fully, because they're not
Because then
prepared
everybody
for that
goes
happen,
mad.
and then everybody goes crazy. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, this is not a good situation.
For me, it's
So-
very like let's simply Sleeping Borg lie, where Zero saves the day and there's no explanation and it doesn't really make sense. And I'm like, I'm on board. I don't want anybody to be hurt. I want them to continue their journey. But it's just like, oh, you just freed yourself from the evil and then blew it up and everybody's good. And I'm like, sure,
Sure. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. MC?
I hadn't thought of the connection to Let Sleeping Borgs Lie because I have to admit it's been a hot minute since I've seen season 1. So yeah, that is true. I still like this because I like when Zero does stuff, and it does lead into the next episode, and I really love the next episode. And just on terms of Zero trying to sacrifice themselves, I think it possibly could be the whole, for lack of a better word, biology of the Medusans, that the containment, something will happen into the containment suit. And yes, that would mean that the others would go mad, but they're teenagers and they don't always think everything through. But it could be the idea of Zero not wanting to hurt themselves, but putting less of a value on their existence because of being non-corporeal.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else on the killer AI? Good.
Enough killer AIs.
enough
That's,
Oh yeah,
killer
that
AIs.
too. How many
Seriously.
killer AI should we go through?
Oh man, Lower Deck season 4 literally started with a killer, not well, an unintentional killer AI, but still.
I don't know.
It
I think
might
we
be
had
the writers
Lander.
trying to get through their
Yeah, I think they have a checkbox of like Star Trek stuff that they need to go through, and like killer AI is one of those. Also, I think I would have like more backstory. Like,
mhm.
Yeah.
what's going on there? Like, what is this thing going? Like, what is happening? It felt really like a TNG episode where like there's no prologue and no epilogue. Like it's just you get like into the middle of a thing and then it's resolved and you're like, but why was Armus there? What is Armus? Why is it so mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
I
you
do.
get no explanation at all, not at all, and it's finished. And you, okay. I mean, I know that we only have 22 minutes, but it felt again. I love Strange New Worlds. I'm here for this. I'm here for like this battle episode, but also in Lower Decks when they have this giant computer that they're rebooting. You remember with Freeman?
Yeah.
You get
That's
like
the
a
one I'm
story
talking
about
about.
like
Yeah.
why the
Why?
computer is here and it's also a 22 minutes episode.
Yeah. And we've seen the Prodigy writers room be able to put a lot into a 24
Yeah.
minute episode. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, was like Pod Race and Killer AI on the checklist, and they were like, "We're gonna mash these two,
yeah, kit bash
Possibly,
them
yeah.
together. Yeah. Yeah.
make it an episode."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's take a chill pill from killer AIs for a little bit. Let's move on to back on Voyager, right? Detective Mijel. The episode ends with Mijel following not Gwyn, hologram Gwyn, back to her quarters when time freezes. We obviously learn later in the season this is our very first look at the loom. Obviously, we didn't know that yet. So that's actually my question for you. When you first saw this happen, not having seen any of the rest of the season, what did you think it was, Giraffe?
First of all, I didn't think about anything. No, I thought it was like the same alien that kept kidnapping Riker while he was sleeping.
Oh, in a schism?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he goes through the wall like this, and I was like, "Oh, we're back at this." But then I forgot about it, but because I watched all the episodes back to back, and I just totally blanked that thing because we don't talk about it until episode 9. I mean,
Yeah.
2 episodes later or something
Yeah,
like
two-
that.
yeah,
So
2
I
episodes
forgot
later,
something
yeah.
tried to get Gwen because it was Holo Gwen, and I didn't really care about Holo Gwen because basically we get the hologram for one, like this episode, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing
And the
that,
next
like,
for like a minute. Yeah.
if
yeah,
I can go back a little bit in the episode, I really like the different hologram being like, I like Prodigy making their voice actor speak like another voice actor.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny, and I think they did a good job at it. So the moment where they're eating and Doll is Zero and Rocktack is Jenkum and Jenkum is Rocktack and Gwyn is Murph, which means that Murph is Gwen? No, who is
Murph is
Gwyn.
Gwyn. Murph is Gwyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zero? Zero is
Zero is Doll.
Doll. Why can't we see Gwyn Murph?
Because then we would know what Murph's voice sounds like.
But I wanted to know. See what I mean? See what I mean by, like, they could have given me the nuggets. Like, let
A little nugget.
Zero
Yeah.
speak. Let the voice actor of Zero, who's incredible. I don't. His name is like not like out of my
It's
head. but-
Nolan North, right? Or
no, yeah.
Yep.
And let him imitate Ella Purnell. Please, that would have been so funny. That would have been so funny.
Or is it D. Bradley Baker? It's D. Bradley,
Bradley-
Baker,
oh,
not
it's
Nolan
the
North.
Murph, it's Steve
yeah,
Bradley
no, no,
Baker,
yeah,
I always
1000%,
mix
yeah.
them up because they're
It was
both
like that-
amazing voice actors.
Yeah. That would have been so funny. So yeah, I was kind of obsessed with these holograms. Also, when Janeway was Doll in
Oh yeah.
Nightwalk, they put her in the brig right away. Like 10 minutes later, they were like, "Yeah, no, you're being weird. Let's like no."
I know, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and these guys are being absolutely insane, and nobody does anything. The doctor is supposed to know them and like cater to them and like make sure that they're okay. And they're just like, "Oh, they're acting weird."
Yeah.
They're not acting weird. Gwen is purring. Like,
Yeah. You would think that insulting Janeway's coffee would be a brig-worthy offense, no matter
Airlock.
what.
Airlock.
Airlock. Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. Nobody knows where Murph is. Where is Murph? What's going on? Like, did Murph hologram didn't exist? I don't remember. I need to check. Maybe they didn't do a Murph hologram.
I think they did. I
must
just don't
have.
think
Oh,
it
they
spoke.
did a Murph hologram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just found it very comical. I mean, it made me laugh more than it annoyed me
Right.
that nobody's noticing that they're being insane. And I think that I had like a problem with the tentacle thingy
The loom.
not being
Yeah.
able to know that a hologram is not the real person. You
Right,
think they operate
yeah.
on another
No, I
because
agree.
they don't have eyes. You don't see their eyes coming out.
No, it's just the
I don't know,
tentacles. It's just the
Yeah,
tentacles.
I don't
no.
know. I know it was like, how doesn't it know that this is just photons and not
Well, the ship can't tell either. So it's like a really Rock Talk is just that good.
Yeah, I'm okay accepting it, but I remember like being like, oh, that thing is not able to know that they're all holograms. So what if they just populate a bunch of holograms in there until like, very like D&D where you like mirror images
Yeah.
Yeah.
to fight. But yeah, I like the fact that it's Majel that puts her finger on there's something wrong going on since the
Yeah.
beginning. She's like,
Yep. Nice. MC?
Space Cthulhu. That's what I thought it was.
yes.
Nice. Good answer.
And yeah, time freezing, considering all of the wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff that's been going on, time freezing is kind of par the course. Like, I'm not shocked that it happened at all. And I'm not, and we'll get into it in subsequent episodes about my feelings about the loom. And I mean, like, we talked a little bit about it when we did the season overview. But yeah, our first look at the loom, it's kind of creepy, but I didn't think much about it at the time. Other than Space Cthulhu.
Also,
Yeah.
they didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So I was like, maybe
Right.
I don't know. It didn't shock me. It didn't,
Right. The big deal doesn't really happen until the next episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when Hologwen freaks out, we're going to talk about that in our next episode. So let's get into some. I by the way, I had no idea. Oh no, I did have an idea. So I had this whole crazy thought that they were going to really try to like connect the Coda trilogy, because I had spoiled myself accidentally about who shows up later. So I was trying to put things together, and I saw that and time freezing, and that's something that happens in those novels. I'm like, oh, we're doing this, huh? And I was wrong, which is fine. That's cool. But that's what I thought. It was a cool thought to have, and I had my heart broken. Final thoughts on this one. I'll let you go after MC draft, but final thoughts on this episode. Then I want to talk to you about the Cairo. Go ahead, MC.
This is very much a filler episode. I have no real thoughts about it. The animation's nice with the racing and yeah,
Next,
very
right?
non-committal.
Next.
Yeah, and the next episode's great. So it sets
Yep.
up the next episode. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Nice. Good. Draft. Let's talk about final thoughts.
I like the
and-
episode, first
yeah.
of all.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I like the episode because we see also how Dal is very near from being over the edge and not taking,
Yes.
like, he almost kills Gwen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
I like this. I like the fact that they put them under pressure and you see how easily each of them, or not easily, like, they revert to
Yeah.
Tors Lamora, basically.
Yeah.
I like that episode. I find it was fun.
Nice.
Doesn't further the plot, but it was fun. The
Yeah.
USS Cairo. Go
Let's
ahead.
talk about the Cairo. Yeah. This episode, you made an interesting tweet, which is pretty cool because this episode retcons maybe what's considered the best episode of DS9 in
One
the
of
pale
best
moonlight
episode
of Star Trek. Yeah, ever. And that's the fate of the USS Cairo, which we also know before it was, what was the name of the captain now?
Leslie Wong.
Leslie Wong. It was Jellicoe's ship. So some interesting things happening here. What's going on with the Cairo draft?
I think the Star Trek Prodigy room was like, we have to deal with Jellicoe, but we don't like him, so we're gonna just like bother him, but indirectly, and just destroy his ship and put him in like whatever the name of that planet is. So when Zero is looking over the edge on the planet, they see a bunch of ships that are like in crystal or ice, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we're not the first ones. And you see very clearly a registry number. And I was like, what ship is that? I know Star Trek Prodigy. They put a registry number, a full one.
And it does say US. You can see USS Cairo.
Yeah, Cairo
too.
is like kind
Yeah,
of broken
yeah.
down. I couldn't
Yeah.
read it, but I typed the number and I was like, oh, that's the USS Cairo, which in the pale moonlight they say was destroyed while patrolling the neutral zone because the Dominion had crossed to Romulan space. And it's the whole thing about getting the Romulan on board with the Federation, because if they allow the Dominion to cross their territory, then everybody's screwed, right? So, and they say, yeah, the USS Caro disappeared, and they don't know what happened, but they supposed they died there. I have no idea how they end up over there, because I don't think it's the same neighborhood. Are they in the Delta Quadrant? I don't know where they are.
They're not in the Delta Quadrant.
But there are a bunch of Kazons, so...
Well,
I
they
mean,
use
they
the
just took up
conduit to get to the
transwarp, yeah.
Kazon. I think they're in the Delta Quadrant now. But, like, how did
the Caro went from the neutral zone to Kazon territory somewhere, blah. Like, weird. But I don't know. But I thought it was kind of horrible, because first of all, poor Captain Wong. I suppose it's still her captaining the Caro. I don't know. People are better at ships than me. Please, actually, me in the comments. But like, she fought the Dominion, right? It's during the Dominion War, and the shit end of the Dominion War also. When like they think they're gonna lose, and they're screwed, and they all die pod racing AI possessed Kazons. So horrible.
It's a cruel fate. It's a very cruel fate.
It's so horrible.
Yeah.
And nobody looked for them because they thought they got blown up in the neutral zone. So maybe they got like captured by Dominion or captured by the Romulan, and then somebody else like took the ship and then ended up there. Maybe, I don't know. But I thought it was fun.
But that's probably not much better.
Yeah.
They still did.
I really hope that
at least they died in the war they were fighting, not by a rando who's possessed by an AI, which I think is kind of insulting.
I really hope that, now that we're talking about this, I really hope that Rock was smart enough to like see if they could transport the black box on board and be like, hey, we found the Cairo.
Or even like taking note that they found the ship.
Yeah.
But that also posed the question, are they in the same universe? Is that possible that like by the transwarp conduit they went somewhere else?
No, I think they're still in the same universe, because I don't think the Borg ever crossed universes except for
First
Borgatti.
Contact?
No, Borgatti in Picard season 2.
But I don't know. I thought it was like a weird Easter egg, because I think it's a dig at Jellicoe, but also I think it has a lot of implication, because a retcon. I mean, no, they're not retconning. I mean, they really think that the Caro disappeared in the neutral zone.
Right. They don't know any better, right? It's
They don't know.
Yeah.
But I want to know what happened now. I was like, you can't do that and not
Aaron,
tell us what happened.
send us an email. We
Tell
want to
me.
know.
Tell
us,
me.
please.
But I think it was cool. I think of all ships, it's a cool little thing being, during the Dominion, basically, they lost so many ships.
Yeah.
They have no clue really like how most of these ships appeared, which is kind of horrible, but that opens cool stories.
Yeah. No, this is I like this. I want an answer though. I really want an answer. Maybe Jellicoe knows. Maybe it was a secret mission. Maybe it will.
Maybe it was a secret mission.
Jellicoe is shady AF, man.
Maybe they were sent to map some transwarp conduit.
And the cover was that they died in the neutral zone.
Yeah,
we just figured it out. There it is.
Because I don't know about the dates. Like, when is the Pale Moonlight taking place? 2387?
Good question.
80 what?
Start date.
2374.
2374.
2374. So, yeah, that's Leslie Wong is the captain, right? And then this is 2384. 84.
Yeah.
So it's been missing for 10 years. And we don't know how, like, that's...
Ooh.
Maybe they did a lot of stuff before ending up there. I mean, that ship is pretty inside the mountain, so it's been here for some time, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Huh. The Cairo, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, to me, this episode's fine. It's not anything special. It is a filler episode, and it gets the job done. And I do understand what Girafe was saying about Dahl, and I feel a little bit bad for him in this episode. But it's hard because we know how the show ends, so it's like everything ends up peaches, you know. So yeah,
I wonder how many Easter eggs we have not seen though.
tons, probably
Now I'm
tons.
like,
I
I
know.
want to go back.
I know.
And rewatch everything and be like, registry numbers.
Girafe finally getting in the ships after a
No,
couple.
I'm not.
No,
I
know.
just
No,
wanted the
never.
story
A
behind the
man can
thing.
dream. A man can dream. That is going to do it for this one. This was a lot of fun. Join us next week for our review of episode 208 of Star Trek Prodigy. There in beauty, no truth. But that'll do it for this one. We will see you then for MC for Girafe. I am Julian. Live long and prosper. Sarcastic Vulcan salute. Majram. Good night.